Morning, my name is Hector Omi Martinez Rosado, Director of the Procurement Division for the Community Development Block Grant, Disaster Recovery and Mitigation Programs. In this pre-proposal meeting, we are going to discuss the request for proposals number CDBG-DRMIT-RFP-2025-02 for the website development and maintenance services under the Community Development Block Grant for Disaster and Recovery and Mitigation Program portfolios, among other federally funded initiatives. I would like now to introduce the Puerto Rico Department of Housing personnel that is with me this morning. Along with me is Ruth Hernandez Mendez, Procurement Official, Gustavo Umpierre Negrón, Procurement Official, Mariana Ramirez Vicens, Procurement Official, Sigfredo Rivera Cruz, Communication Division, and Carla Jimenez Perez, Federal Compliance Division. Any questions submitted in this meeting will be answered in writing and published in addendum. Any information provided in this meeting does not change the terms and conditions established in the request for proposals instructions. This meeting will be recorded and available on the CDBG-DR YouTube channel. All procurement process shall be conducted in accordance with the terms and conditions established in the procurement manual for the CDBG-DR and CDBG-DRMIT programs to guarantee full and open competition and fair treatment of all persons and entities involved in each procurement process. The procurement manual is available on the CDBG-DR website as seen on the screen, incorporated by reference and made an integral part of this request for proposal. Now, we have a presentation from Sigfredo Rivera Cruz from the Communication Division for an explanation of the scope of services.
Muy buenos días a todos, soy Sigfredo Rivera Cruz, director programático de comunicaciones de la Oficina de Recuperación de Desastres del Departamento de la Vivienda de Puerto Rico. Hoy les presentaré información clave sobre el proceso competitivo para contratar servicios de desarrollo y mantenimiento web. Al final, la meta es que cada empresa pueda autoevaluar si cuenta con la capacidad para participar responsable y competitivamente en este proceso. Adelanto que esta presentación se ofrecerá en español, pero si alguno de los proponentes lo solicitara, es posible proveer una versión en inglés. This presentation will be offered in Spanish, but if any of the proponents requested, it is possible to provide an English version.
Buen día, pero si es posible para que la presentación se vea full screen.
Dame un segundo. Creo que ya está.
Lo vemos con las notas abajo. Ahora sí.
Ok, en el contexto de recuperación y mitigación, que es muy importante para entender las labores que se van a desempeñar, tras el paso del huracán María, Puerto Rico recibió fondos de recuperación CDBG-DR y fondos de mitigación CDBG-MIT del Departamento de Vivienda Federal para la recuperación a largo plazo y la mitigación para eventos futuros en la isla. Estos fondos exigen transparencia y publicaciones periódicas, canales de participación ciudadana, lo que convierte a nuestro portal en una herramienta esencial para comunicar avances, procesos y requisitos de nuestros programas de recuperación. Desde la División de Comunicaciones, nuestra función es divulgar información clara, oportuna sobre programas, sobre la elegibilidad a los programas, sobre los procesos de compra, los cambios de política, además de apoyar los procesos de participación ciudadana y mantener la información siempre accesible en español e inglés para todos los procesos y para todos los públicos. El sitio web de recuperación.pr.gov y también CDBG-DR.pr.gov centraliza todos los planes de acción y las enmiendas a esos planes de acción, informes de desempeño financieros y de otro tipo, políticas de compras y herramientas para que la ciudadanía solicite a los programas de asistencia, pueda subir documentos, verificar el estatus de sus solicitudes y ofrecer comentarios a avisos públicos, borradores de planes de acción y otros, ¿no? Mantener y mejorar estas funcionalidades, entonces, se hace un requisito clave e indispensable para nuestros dos programas, tanto el programa de recuperación DR como el programa de recuperación mitigación. El Departamento de la Vivienda busca entonces uno o más proponentes para desarrollar, mantener y administrar un portal que sea efectivo, que sea informativo, que esté actualizado y sea fácil de navegar conforme a CDBG-DR y CDBG-MIT. En adelante lo voy a llamar recuperación y mitigación, y otros fondos federales que puedan, ¿verdad?, en el futuro asignarse al departamento. Es importante destacar, ¿verdad?, que no hay garantía mínima de trabajo. El contratista es responsable por la exactitud y la puntualidad de las tareas según descritas en el scope of work. El término base del contrato es de 3 años, con la posibilidad de extenderse eh, un año, 2 años, sujetas a la disponibilidad de los fondos. Durante el contrato, el personal podrá apoyar asignaciones relacionadas con otros fondos federales que no están ahora mismo contemplados. Si se selecciona un proveedor distinto al actual, se requerirá un plan de transición, ¿verdad?, y esta constituye la primera tarea en este caso, ¿verdad? Si se selecciona un proveedor nuevo. Y la transición sería junto al proveedor saliente, al hosting del nuevo proponente o el que resulte ganador en la competencia, incluyendo el propio sitio web, los contenidos, todos sus archivos, bases de datos, los plugins y todas las configuraciones. Esto viene acompañado de un plan de manejo de riesgos y de backups. Todo trabajo es work for hire y propiedad exclusiva del Departamento de la Vivienda de Puerto Rico. Si el contratista actual fuera seleccionado, pues entonces esta tarea no tendría periodo de transición. El desempeño y desarrollo del landing page será continuo por la etapa en la que se encuentra ahora el programa de recuperación, con reuniones regulares con el área para acordar contenido, la presentación y la apariencia del portal. El portal evolucionará según surjan nuevos requisitos de los programas y de los fondos. Además de los landing pages, el proponente deberá diseñar y mantener portales externos para campañas o procesos específicos. Por ejemplo, actualmente utilizamos en algunos casos la plataforma Wix, que nos consumen recursos del sitio web recuperación.pr.gov, pero reflejan la imagen, la forma y la normativa del departamento. Por ejemplo, un ejemplo histórico es que actualmente mantenemos un portal en Wix que se llama compratucasa.pr.gov para el programa de asistencia directa al comprador. En torno al mantenimiento continuo y la accesibilidad, de forma continua se requiere revisar y fortalecer la accesibilidad de nuestro portal, incluyendo herramientas de navegación para personas con discapacidades, y la revisión de fotos, gráficos, documentos que no cumplan con formatos accesibles. También incluye un mantenimiento general y apoyo técnico para solucionar aquellos problemas funcionales que se deriven de contenido nuevo. En términos de hosting, el proponente proveerá servicios de hosting por la duración del contrato. Gestionará los cambios de DNS garantizará compatibilidad con múltiples navegadores, incluyendo los móviles, y monitoreo de seguridad con alertas. Se requiere alto rendimiento y desempeño, integraciones complejas, backups, mantenimiento del sistema operativo y que el portal sea escalable, además de medidas de seguridad de la red. En torno a la disponibilidad para soporte técnico, aquellos asuntos que sean sensibles deben atenderse por lo menos en una hora o menos. Para consultas generales, esas consultas deben atenderse en un día laborable o menos. Las solicitudes de agregar nuevas funcionalidades al portal web deben atenderse en 3 días laborables o menos. Y consultas de proyectos, cronogramas y otro tipo de planificación en 3 días laborables. Si el proponente ofrece tiempos alternos o la necesidad de un tiempo alterno, pues debe entonces ser en mutuo acuerdo con el departamento. Estructura mínima de personal, y ¿verdad? Debo destacar que es mínimo, por lo tanto este personal es esencial que esté dentro de la propuesta, y se espera que este personal esté altamente competente y calificado para desempeñar sus funciones, con posibilidad de solicitar reemplazo si el desempeño no es esperado, es el esperado. El plan del personal debe incluir un organigrama, los roles de cada uno, responsabilidades y la disponibilidad, perfiles mínimos, el Project Manager, un grado universitario con 5 años o más de experiencia en desarrollo web, comprensión de planificación, lenguajes, compatibilidad, bases de datos y servicios web, debe ser bilingüe. El diseñador el website designers o designer debe tener un grado en esta especialidad con 3 años de experiencia o más. El developer debe tener un grado en esta especialidad con 4 años de experiencia o más, y el database administrator un grado con esta especialidad y 4 años o más de experiencia, seguridad, integridad y en el backups de bases de datos. En términos del entregable y los cronogramas y la planificación, dentro de los primeros 15 días de ejecución se espera que se entregue el plan de transición del hosting de nuevo, si es que ¿verdad? El proponente elegido es un nuevo proponente, y el plan de manejo de riesgos para salvaguardar la información que tiene ahora mismo el portal. Dentro de los próximos entonces 60 días, la ejecución del plan de transición del proveedor existente se aplica. El plan de transición debe ser hasta 4 meses. La evaluación inicial para el plan detallado de transferencia, cumplimiento de sección 508, respaldos o backups, preparación de ambientes en WordPress o en cualquier otro, ¿verdad? En cualquier otro sistema que se exija, y listas de componentes de migración de contenido, verificación de funcionalidades dinámicas, etcétera. Mensualmente se espera el desarrollo, mantenimiento y administración del portal, sobre todo el componente de mantenimiento, por la etapa en la que ahora se encuentran nuestros programas, que incluyen, ¿verdad? El servicio de hosting, los procedimientos de continuidad de servicio, los reportes de mantenimiento y las visitas a los landing pages. Es importante, en términos de requisitos, que nuestro portal debe ser siempre bilingüe y cumplir con todas las políticas del departamento en torno a información personal, confidencialidad y no divulgación. Todo trabajo es work for hire y propiedad del gobierno de Puerto Rico. Gracias por su tiempo y por el interés. Los invitamos a revisar el Scope of Work o el alcance de los servicios completo en el documento del RFP, y a preparar una propuesta que evidencie metodología de la transición, capacidades técnicas y cumplimiento y el equipo de trabajo. Entonces ahora paso con el equipo eh, para continuar con el reviewing. Buen día.
Thank you, Cifredo, for your presentation. Now I will explain to where acquire RFP documents and what are the important dates for this RFP. The RFP documents are available for download on the CDBG-DR website as presented on the screen. Important dates for this RFP are the following. For submitting questions and requests for clarifications, it will be on and before September 10, 2025 at 5 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. For responses to questions and requests for clarifications will be published. It will be on and before September 17, 2025. Proposals due date. This will be electronic submission only. It will be from October 6, 2025 at 9 a.m. Atlantic time. Up on before October 8, 2025 at 4 p.m. Now I'm gonna pass to Ruth Hernandez Mendez. She's gonna continue the presentation.
Good morning. Thank you. Please submit all inquiries in attachment 3 of the RFP and send them to the email as seen on the screen. Responses to all proposers' questions will be answered by addenda and will be posted on the CDBG-DR website. All documents related to this acquisition process, including the addenda issued by the Puerto Rico Department of Housing, are and will be available for download at the CDBG-DR website. All proposers are responsible for monitoring the CDBG-DR website for any issued addenda in this RFP. Proposal will only be accepted electronically via email to the CDBG-DR procurement at vivienda.pr.gov. The Puerto Rico Department of Housing will neither require nor accept physical proposal submissions. If a proposal is submitted on paper and electronically, only the electronic submission will be considered for evaluation. Proposals must be submitted within the closing date and time schedule. Proposals submitted after the prescribed deadline will not be allowed. Now, Gustavo will be presenting the evaluation criteria.
Hello. The evaluation criteria will be evaluated based on the criteria outlined. The technical proposal evaluation are critical qualification and experience of the proposer to successfully perform the services required in this RFP, as evidenced by the successful implementation of relevant services of similar scope and complexity, preferably in large complex public organizations like the state government and federal entities. Quality of the proposed approach and its relevance to the services described in this RFP, including implementation, schedule, and understanding of the PRDOH goals. Important. Professional qualifications and specialized experience of the proposed key staff as evidenced by relevant experience to the role proposed. Company capacity as evidenced by the information provided in the cover letter, executive summary, organizational chart, among others. Evaluation will consider the proposer's stability, relevant experience, and internal capacity support and manage the services required under this RFP. Capacity of the key staff personnel and the ability to commit adequate time to effectively perform the services in the role assigned within the required time frame. Pass or fail. Financial stability of the proposer and its capacity to effectively perform the services. capacity of the entity to effectively provide the services required in this RFP, preference, level, quality, and relevancy of participation by Section 3 business concern and minority, women, veteran, business enterprise, also known as MWVBE. Price proposal evaluation. The price proposal will be evaluated according to a reasonableness of overall price, allocation of effort, and overall value offered. The SAM registration. Proposers and first-tier subcontractors must be registered in the System for Award Management, also known as SAM, at the time of the proposal submission or initiate the registration process right after the proposal submission. For more information, please visit the SAM website. There's no fee to create, renew, or update your registration. Awards will only be issued to entities that are cleared and not ineligible for award a contract due to suspension, debarment, or HUD imposed limited denial of participation. Now, we will leave you with Carla Jimenez Perez from the Section 3 Federal Compliance Division, who explains the federal compliance requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Gustavo. Hello. We would like to give thank you to the Procurement Division for the opportunity to present on compliance and labor standards requirements. This presentation is prepared in English. However, if it is required in Spanish, please submit a request following the procurement protocols. I am here today representing the Federal Compliance Team from the Puerto Rico Department of Housing. Today, our agenda includes a discussion on the overview of compliance roles and responsibilities. We will also review the tools available on our website. Finally, we will cover documenting efforts, reporting requirements, and address frequently asked questions. The procurement package language under Section 3, the work to be performed under the contract resulting from this RFP may be subject to the requirements of Section 3 of the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968 as amended. Section 3 helps foster local economic development, neighborhood economic improvement, and individual self-sufficiency. It is PRDOH policy to require its subrecipients, contractors, subcontractors, and contractors of subrecipients to provide training and equal employment opportunities to low and very low income persons, particularly those who are recipients of government assistance for housing or residents of the community in which the federal assistance is spent to the greatest extent feasible. The Department of Housing makes available a Section 3 policy guide on their website, both in English and in Spanish. Contractors must read and implement activities as applicable and necessary. They are also responsible for their subcontractors, ensuring that benchmarks are met. The Section 3 participation objective under the 24 CFR Part 75 are 25% or more of all the labor hours worked by all workers on a Section 3 project should be hours worked by Section 3 workers. and the 5% or more of all the labor hours worked on a Section 3 project must be hours worked by target Section 3 workers. This is the Section 3 plan. This document template allows contractors or subrecipients to outline their strategies for meeting Section 3 hiring, training, and contracted goals. A Section 3 contractor plan template is available online on the PRDOH website in English and in Spanish. This document assists in identifying new hiring and subcontractor needs, helps plan outreach efforts, and supports coordinators in managing daily activities. Finally, it helps you define compliance procedures and it helps you understand your reporting requirements. This is the Section 3 self-certification forms. These document templates help individuals identify if they meet the requirements to be considered a Section 3 worker or targeted worker. Also, there is a business concern self-certification form. The businesses that are identified as Section 3 will be part of the database for dissemination of contracting and purchasing opportunities. You can access the self-certification forms through the link presented on the slide. The work to be performed under the contract resulting from this RFP shall be subject to the regulations set forth in the CFR Part 200. This regulation requires the non-federal entity to take necessary steps to ensure that, when possible, all subrecipients, contractors, subcontractors, and/or developers funded with CDBG-DR or CDBG-MIT funds hire or provide economic opportunities to small and minority firms, women-owned business enterprises, and labor surplus area firms. These are consistent with Executive Orders number 11,625, 12,138, and 12,432. Non-federal entities shall make every feasible effort to ensure that small businesses, MBEs, and WBEs, and labor surplus area businesses participate in contracting. There are various regulations that call for inclusion in MBEs or WBEs, establishing that the participation of these firms, which seek to ensure that, when possible, contracts and other economic opportunities funded in whole or in part with federal housing and community development assistance are directed to MWBEs. The Department of Housing has established an MWBE policy guide. This is available on the website in both English and Spanish. The MWBE policy guide will identify that there are goals which apply to professional services, purchasing supplies, and construction contracting. There is a total minimum participation goal, which are 10% for MBEs and 10% for WBEs. Contractors are expected to perform good faith efforts for contracting, subcontracting, and purchasing opportunities of $10,000 or more during the life of the contract. Let's look at the MWBE utilization plan. This tool assists in compiling data for subcontracting purposes. It helps you identify what needs needs you may have. It helps hold discussions on creating supplier and contractor listings and provides awareness of meeting the goal for the contract and tracking. These are the description of what is an MWE companies. A minority business enterprise, MBE, is defined as a business that is 51% or more owned, operated, and controlled on a daily basis by one or more U.S. citizens of ethnic minority or gender or military classifications or veterans. The Women Business Enterprise, WBE, is a business concern that is at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women. Must be U.S. citizens or legal resident aliens, whose business formation and principal place of business are in the U.S. or its territories. When we talk about certified minority or women-owned businesses, we are referring to those who have filed applications with federal entities such as U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, and others that you see here on the slide. Businesses who are certified can provide proof of completing an application process to be officially recognized as a certified MBE or WBE. If you're registered as a MWBE, you should provide your valid certificate or other evidence in response to this RFP. As part of its obligations to the Department of Housing, the contractor or subrecipient must carry out compliance efforts during the term of the agreement or contract, which will be reported by submitting the quarterly report and the template to document efforts. It is the duty of every organization to keep the preservation of documents updated according to the policy on document management, administration, and accessibility created in your organization. The objective of this document, the template to document efforts, is to facilitate the compilation of all the arrangements and procedures intended and linked to Section 3 and MWBE as applicable. These efforts are carried out during each quarter by the subrecipients and contractor. The Department of Housing has established a quarterly report available on the website for subrecipients and contractors to download, complete, and submit. This form is the method for reporting quarterly compliance, activity, and efforts on Section 3, MWE, and Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Regulations. All subrecipients and contractors are expected to have a system for collecting updated information for reporting on this form. Quarterly report forms captures Section 3 data, efforts performed under Section 3, MWBE data, contracting for MBEs or WBEs, efforts performed, fair housing and equal opportunity data, limited English proficiency, and compliance with EEOC, workforce, race, and gender information. The quarterly report forms requires to be submitted on April 5th for the first quarter of the year, July 5th for the second, October 5th for the third, and January 5th for the fourth quarterly of the year. Let's briefly discuss fair housing and equal opportunity. Your RFP package will also contain a model contract which outlines fair housing and equal opportunity areas of compliance. Contractors are responsible for ensuring compliance with federal civil rights and fair housing through their contractors, subcontractors, and so forth, ensuring that all necessary efforts are being made. The Fair Housing Act and Sections 109 and 504 prohibit discrimination against the following protected classes of people: race, color, national origin, religion, sex, age, familial status, disability, gender identity, and sexual orientation. The Fair Housing Act is part of the Civil Rights of 1964. There are many executive orders, laws, statutes that govern the non-discrimination of protected classes to ensure equal opportunity for individuals in accessing federally funded programs. Equal opportunity is afforded to protected classes through a number of these federal laws and executive orders that you can see in the slide. PRDOH has published policy documents addressing fair housing and equal opportunity, as well as language access plan. These policies must be implemented by contractors and subrecipients. They are publicly available online in both English and Spanish. As a recipient of HUD financial assistance, the Department of Housing must ensure that all programs affirmatively further access to fair housing and that the programs provide equal opportunity for participation and employment. Reasonable accommodations are adjustments to a program policy, practice, or service that afford individuals with disabilities equal access to the program's benefits. Section 504 requires federally funded programs provide requested accommodations or modifications at the cost of the program to the extent that they are reasonable and address a verified disability-related need. Contractors that have 15 employees or more are required to have a 504 coordinator. The CDBG-DR and CDBG-MIT reasonable accommodation policy provides requirements and guidance for evaluating these requests. PRDOH supports programs in the handling and evaluation of this request. Limited English proficiency refers to persons' limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English. Due to Puerto Rico's high Spanish-speaking population, all entities and contractors using the CDBG-DR and CDBG-MIT funding must seek to ensure both that a person's limited ability to read, write, speak, or understand English or Spanish will not place them at a disadvantage in the participation of programs. Thank you for your attention. Please remember to direct all your questions through the established protocols for this procurement.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for participating in this pre-proposal meeting. We appreciate your time. If you have any questions or inquiries, please fill out the form called attachment 3 and send it to the email as seen on the screen. Additionally, submit your proposals via email as shown on the screen. We wish you a great day. Thank you.